We just watched a 10-part series, The Last Dance, and Michael Jordan, inventing slights, inventing some type of disrespect, inventing some type of, oh, you don't believe in me? You don't think I'm good enough? I'll prove you wrong, which led him to being the greatest basketball player ever. I got this tweet from Jason after I mentioned Trey Lance's tweet, or Trey Lance's quote. Jason tweeted, "That's a guy who doesn't have a passion for football. He may like it, he may enjoy playing it, but it's not his life like it is for somebody like Tom Brady." Oh, there you go. Absolutely the Tom Brady comparison. The Tom Brady clearly invents slights. He's still bothered that he was drafted in the 6th round. He's still using the nobody believed in me card. By virtue of watching Mraz's tweet come across his hype video, still cultivating the nobody believes in me card. I'm too old. I'm too this. I'm too that. I'll show you. I have to say, believing that's the only definition of passion about football or anything else that you do is so reductive it's pathetic. The idea that the only motivation great players can have is by slights, is by manufactured motivation, manufactured I'll show you, is so pathetic. Great players, great athletes can find motivation in many different places. And just because Michael and Tom Brady, and they're both all-time greats, use that doesn't mean everybody uses that. Did Peyton Manning, drafted number 1 overall, use slights? Use you don't believe in me? Use perceived disrespect as his motivation? What could he have ever used if that was his motivation? He was drafted number 1 overall. He was considered the greatest quarterback prospect of 20 years. He immediately hit the ground running and won in the NFL. Didn't win a Super Bowl for a while, but eventually got over that hump. And from day one was a workaholic, a studyholic, was a film room guy, was a let's break this down to the nuts and bolts of the science of playing the quarterback position. Where exactly was the perceived slight that he needed to motivate himself? And that's Peyton Manning. It's such knuckle-dragging idiocy to think that every person's motivated by the same thing. A perceived chip on my shoulder. Go into any boardroom, talk to CEOs, talk to business owners, talk to scientists, talk to great minds that are creating great things every day. The most motivated, driven, ambitious people that you will find. Go out and find any of them and ask them if every one of them is motivated by a perceived chip on their shoulder. They didn't believe in me. I didn't get into the school that I wanted to get into. Mom and dad didn't believe in me. No. Some people use that. Other people don't. And to hear Trevor Lawrence say this, it tells me he's more advanced. He's already smarter and more sophisticated and more in tune with being his best self than most people are. I'll be honest. I also think Tom Brady's incessant chip on his shoulder motivation is sometimes sad. You're 43 years old. You've won everything you could possibly win. The idea that you need to trick yourself, that somebody doesn't believe in you to reach the next high, to me is a little pathetic. Because what you're doing is you're using a negative as your motivation. How about using a positive? That's what Trevor Lawrence is saying. I love football. I want to be great. That's my motivation. It's not the negative that somebody doesn't believe in me. It's not that I have to prove people wrong. I love what I do. And what's wrong with that? To me, that's even healthier. To me, that's much better. to me, that starts from a positive place. Trevor Lawrence, of course, because the knuckle-dragging football Twitter landscape dragged him through the mud. He doesn't love football enough. Had to clarify his comments, which is, again, sad. And Lawrence said, "It seems as if people are misreading my sentiment. I am internally motivated. I love football as much or more than anyone. It's a huge priority in my life. Obviously, I am driven to be the best I can be and maximize my potential to win. I have a lot of confidence in my work ethic. I love to grind and to chase my goals. You could ask anyone who has been in my life. That being said, I'm secure in who I am and what I believe. I don't need football to make me feel worthy as a person. I purely love the game and everything that comes with it. The work, the team, the ups and the downs. I'm a firm believer in the fact that there's a plan for my life and I'm called to be the best I can be at whatever I'm doing. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. LOL." That's my quarterback. That right there is my quarterback. I love this dude. This kid is coming in to a league, doesn't know anything about the NFL, has never taken a snap in this league, and already has his head on straighter than 80% of the NFL players. I'm going to tell you something. Personally, I don't use slights or disrespect or you didn't believe in me as my motivation. And I consider myself a pretty motivated person. I think the one thing that most of the people that I've worked with would say is, yeah, you don't have to worry about motivation with DA. There's other things that I could definitely be better at. But one thing I do not lack is motivation and ambition and the desire to work. I welcome the work. One thing I don't do is say, yeah, but that PD didn't hire me. Or that television executive didn't watch my tape. I don't do that. My motivation comes from every single day and has been since I was 15 years old, saying this is what I love to do. I'm trying to be the best version of me. And I'm going to keep trying to push that bar higher and higher and higher. And if today's show was an 8, tomorrow's has to be a 9. And one day, hopefully, we'll get to a 10. And I don't know if I'll ever achieve a 10, but that's what I hope to achieve by continually pushing the rock up the hill. I invite the work. I invite the dedication. I believe in the focus and the process and doing what internally you believe you are put on this planet to do. And this is what I believe I've been put on this planet to do. I love doing this. But that's all I need to wake up every single day and grind. That's all I've ever needed. I don't look at my classmates that I graduated with and said, I've got to be more famous than him. I don't look at other guys in our industry and say, I've got to make more money than that person. I can't believe my tape didn't get me hired at so-and-so station. And believe me, I've been not hired by plenty of program directors. That's not what I use every single day. I'll prove them wrong. I don't need that. And I'm not saying that Tom Brady or Michael Jordan's motivations are wrong. Everybody has their own personal motivations. Whatever that is that helps you become your best self, great. I think that Brady's is a little sad, just like I think that the whole Last Dance thing with Michael Jordan was a little pathetic at times because, again, you're a grown adult. You've accomplished all of this, and you're still manufacturing fake incidents in your mind to whip you into a frenzy. But that's also sports, and you've got this like adrenaline rush, and it's very testosterone-laden, and maybe you just need that to reach that high in that moment. I'm not going to blame you for that, not entirely. But that's also not every athlete's motivation. And the idea that people would read Trevor Lawrence's comments and think he doesn't love football enough, I mean, it's so stupid. And part of the reason that this stuff drives me insane is that fans and media don't know. We don't know. And you think you know, and you don't know. And again, it's fans and media. You think you know, but you don't know. The idea that you would have any concept of what Trevor Lawrence's motivation should be internally is so stupid. Like, you could, from 30,000 feet, look at a guy that you have no personal relationship with. None. You watch a few football games and assume you know best for him what should drive him. Is so stupid. And it really, really frustrates me. If Trevor Lawrence, 5 years from now, fizzles out of the NFL and says, my heart wasn't in it. I didn't like the pressure. I saw the other guys making a life out of it. I didn't want to dedicate every waking minute of my day to studying film or to thinking about defenses. Fine. We can go back 5 years from now and say, you know what? Trevor Lawrence didn't have that it factor or that DNA to really succeed. But to this point in time, how dare you question his motivation? All the dude has ever done, from what we've seen, is be the best at what he does. High school, the best at what he did. Highly recruited. Got to Clemson. They had a guy there, a veteran who was winning, and Dabo said, we can't afford to play this guy anymore because Trevor Lawrence is that good. He's ready, and was. He wins a national championship his first year, and every year after that, he actually got better statistically. He is seemingly got both feet on the ground. He's a mature young kid. I shouldn't even call him a young kid because he's not. He's a man. Everybody loves him. He's a winner, all of that. How dare anybody assess his motivation? What has he proven besides being the best at what he does? Oh, well, he doesn't love it enough to succeed. Like, shut up. Stick a sock in your mouth and shut up and get off of Twitter because that take is so stupid. Like, you would know. Like, you would have any idea internally what's best for Trevor Lawrence because the evidence is that he's doing quite fine, thank you. I love that he said this. I love that he's that secure. And people that secure, they succeed. It's the insecurity that can oftentimes be a problem. Michael Jordan used the insecurity of being cut from his 9th grade high school basketball team his whole career. Great. Became the greatest player of all time. Doesn't mean he was a healthy individual. I mean, he was still making that point in his Hall of Fame speech to his high school coach, which is in the stands. Like, all right, kind of weird. Mike, you can let that go now. Tom Brady is going to be 80 years old and still reminding everybody that he got drafted number 199 and nobody believed in him. All right, at some point you got to have to let that go. I would think to be a healthy individual. Really successful, but mentally probably not all that positive or healthy to always dwell on the negative. To question Trevor Lawrence's motivation is so remarkably stupid. And I love him for saying this. I want him as my quarterback. I guarantee you he'll succeed, and I guarantee you we will never in his career say, yeah, I don't think he loves the game. I guarantee we won't say that. And I hope he changes the narrative. I hope he changes football so that people don't have to only have the Tom Brady's and Michael Jordans of the world to say you have to have a manufactured chip on your shoulder, even if you're successful, and say you can just be positively motivated every single day by your own ambition, by your own desire to be your best, because you love the process, which he does. You know, there's plenty of really successful people that just love what they do, and that's what their motivation is. They don't have to create friction where there is none. Plenty of people do this every single day. The idea that NFL quarterbacks have to create a fake negative narrative is stupid. And it's only out there because Brady keeps doing it and because you hear so many athletes say, chip on my shoulder, chip on my shoulder. We have a chip on our shoulders. Coaches say this all the time, chip on our shoulder. And that's fine for some. It's not everybody. It's just not. It's not everybody. There are plenty of athletes every single year that reach incredible goals What is LeBron motivated by? He was the number one pick of the NBA draft, and he never played a college basketball game. He was recruited by every single major college program. Everybody. He was a wonderkind at 15 years old. What is his motivation? That to prove people wrong anymore? No. It's to be the best LeBron James. It's to win. He loves the winning. He loves the competing. He loves perfecting his craft. You don't have to have the, oh my God, they don't believe in me. Nonsense, garbage, gobbledygook. It's so pinheaded. It is like you have to have the brain of an earthworm to think that's the only way to be motivated. I mean, come on.